How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Gfinity's Combat Zone, where I'll be taking you through the Call of Duty Ghost maps. Chasm is a three-tiered map. You've got the top section of the map where the middle of the building collapses. You've got inside of the middle of the building, which is also the main kind of tier of the entire map itself. And then you've got the underground station that the buildings are located on, which can create lots of different dynamic approaches to the gameplay. And in this map, there's a lot of different routes that you can actually take. Lots of different ways you can get to certain parts of the map, take lots of flanking routes and different approaches to every combat zone. It is a very, very big map and it has a lot of different engagements. Some engagements you'll want to bring a shotgun or a submachine gun, and other ones you'll want to bring an assault rifle, a sniper rifle. So there's a lot of different variation that you can get out of this map in general. And it has a few dynamic map elements, such as the elevator, which will actually fall off if it is blown up, or the bus at the back of the map, if it is shot, will fall off. Not particularly too detrimental to what's going on in the game itself, but it is something to watch out for if you're caught in a bad situation. Make sure you do keep your eyes peeled, as there are a lot of different parts of the map which can be a little bit difficult to see people, and you'll always find someone who is potentially sitting behind cover, and it can be quite difficult to spot them or take them down, so make sure you're always on your toes. And the fact that there are a lot of different corners you can sit in can make it very difficult to ensure that you're always going to stay alive. Moving on to the game modes, Domination's a very, very fun game mode. The B bomb site creates for some incredibly exciting action. It's not that easy to access, but at the same time it's not impossible to get in there. Same in the reverse, it isn't impossible to defend it for the entire duration, but it can be quite difficult to defend itself. There are 3 different entrances to that flag site, which for one person alone can make it very difficult to defend yourself, especially when you are coming up against an array of different people, especially if you find one of their spawn points. The rest of the flags are quite a long way away from the action, and it can be quite difficult to get a good flowing game going, although it does create for lots of flanking options, and it does mean that if your team is not particularly on the talented side, you can actually pull the game back into your favor. Search and Destroy has some really incredible engagements, lots of good little gunfights, especially off the bat in the office areas. However, the problem is that a lot of the teams do tend to favor the A bomb site, which can create for a lot of standoffs, and considering the difference in the ground advantage, it does create for a much more dominant side on the defensive round. Another problem with Search and Destroy on this map is that the bomb sites are very, very distant from each other. In most traditional Call of Duty maps, they're quite close together, so if something goes down and you're forced to clutch it, you can get over to that other bomb site before something really goes wrong. The Blitz game mode has a lot of different routes to the portals, which makes attacking very, very easy and quite entertaining. Although on the defensive side of that, it means that you're not going to get much stopping them going up that flag. However, they both are in a good amount of open space with a lot of different bits of cover. So defending the portal, aka camping on it, can be actually very, very easy, which can create some very frustrating moments for players all across the board. Team Deathmatch creates for lots of different and lots of interesting engagements as well. However, the spawns do become a little bit more predictable, as they'll spawn at the diner and the bus area quite often, and you'll find that a lot of the traffic ends up filtering up into the top left-hand side of the office building, and that is where most of the action goes. The playstyle on this map generally is quite passive. You don't see a huge amount of running and gunning and moving about the whole place. People tend to play this a lot more casually, and they're very, very much on their toes. And in some occasions, you'll find people just sitting in the ledges and the office windows just to make sure that they're not getting flanked or taken down, because there are lots of different ways to approach this map. It seems that the assault rifles and the submachine guns do dominate this map a lot. Your shotguns do have a good amount of purpose when you're moving quickly and through all of the office buildings. I would take extreme caution when moving out into the open and taking the underground flanking routes. Snipers do have their place in this, especially if you play it correctly, but they are vastly outmatched compared to the other classes. Ultimately, your LMGs are pretty self-explanatory. They'll do pretty much anything you want in all sorts of engagements. If I were you, I would use the building to navigate the map as best I can, especially if you're using a submachine gun or a shotgun. And it looks like the assault rifles are a much more versatile option because you do have that opportunity to move through the buildings as well as taking people out from a distance. And there are a lot of long lines of sight that you can certainly take advantage of and rack up those kill streaks. From a competitive angle, I'd say that this map is very, very big and probably far too big for the likes of 4v4. It can create for a good game if this map was a lot smaller because of the 3-tier aspect of the map. It can create a lot of different opportunities and a lot of different ways to make plays. However, it means that there's few engagements because of the sheer size and the sheer amount of space that you can have. And the bomb sites and the objectives as well in both Domination and Blitz are very, very distant from each other. So it creates a lot of running and chasing in a game that really should be more about playing together as a team rather than constantly running backwards and forwards. My conclusion is that the map is very big. It is very good, but it is very big, and probably too big to be played on any sort of competitive level. For only having 6 players makes things very slow, and a map like this could benefit very well from Hardpoint, because Hardpoint, there is a fair amount of running around, and the different areas of this map would create for some incredibly interesting hardpoints. You've got the center rubble, you've got the office buildings, you've got the underground, you've got the diner, lots of different things, and that means that an anchor would benefit from this map the most and have such a pivotal role in making sure that those spawns are locked down for his team, which kind of brings a more skillful element into what is a very dull set of playlists. My recommendation for this is to use a low recoil gun such as the one displayed on the screen, and the perks that I find that are going to be most helpful for you are Stalker, moving through those buildings quickly, because ultimately there are very short, small, tight corridors that you're going to be going through, and you want to be as versatile and be able to strafe as much as possible. Focus, you want to be able to hit those long lines of sights because there are going to be people sitting still and sitting in windows and buildings that are just going to have the drop on you if you're not careful. And ultimately, quick draw, if you are caught out in mid-sprint, you can make sure that you can get that quick aim down sights, as well as ready up, you can make sure that you do come out of that sprint very quickly and get kills on people just before they can drop you. Overall, I would say this is a great map, but it could be improved by different game modes and maybe being a little bit smaller. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, do feel free to drop a like rating and let us know in the comments what you thought of this map. We'll be back for the next one in the next episode. I will see you later.